DNA and fingerprints.
Yes, I'm aware, Commissioner.
So then we must accept that that was an exercise in futility, because whoever was responsible for that scene will not be hearing further from LCRC.
I don't want to be as bold as to say it's an exercise in futility. There may be that 1 in 100 cases that we do get, so...
How do you land on 100? Why not 1 in 3?
I'm just thumb-sucking, Commissioner.
Okay. So just a thumb-suck on your part. Is it possible that, and you remember that presentation we dealt with provided to the Commission by General Sinona on seizures from these seagoing vessels, that the port of Santos, Brazil, appears to be one of the key sources of these drugs. Do you accept that?
That's correct.
Do you accept that once that container hits the harbor in Johannesburg, in Durban, we wish we had a harbor. That container is sealed, and it's assumed that it was sealed at point of origin.
That's correct.
You wouldn't have a difficulty in accepting that if LCRC uplifts any prints, they will not be able to match to anyone in our database because these are people out in Brazil.
That's correct.
You do accept, however, that seeing as the number of seizures we have been able to execute precisely out of that port, the more of those fingerprints and DNA we uplift and share with Brazil, the more we empower them that end to try and locate who may consistently be responsible for these shipments. Do you accept that?
I agree with you 100%.
And you consider that absolutely unnecessary, and therefore will not call LCRC. And I ask this question on the assumption that you as DPCI are part of a global law enforcement movement against drug trafficking. You play a significant role there.
Yes.
You share and receive intelligence,
yes, and
other matters. But somehow you choose to undermine such a key one simply because you, Colonels Jacob, don't get back results from LCRC. Is that a fair take on my part?
If I may explain, Commissioner, what we do when we make a seizure of this nature, we do a report that then goes to Interpol. Then there's a purple notice that's issued, meaning we send them the method of concealment, the logo on the drugs, everything regarding the modus operandi, the description. So with regards to trying to identify the suspects on the other side and try to profile them, we are doing but investigations are ongoing in that regard. If I may even elaborate on a recent one, we found a tracking device on a brick of cocaine where we made a seizure in a reefer, one of those freezer containers. So there we found a SIM card, obviously that a tracking device works with. So we sent it to our SANEB head office. We've shared that information with Interpol, with international law enforcement agencies. So that's about as far as it goes. What we do have at our disposal, we do communicate with them. But that being said, I've never shared DNA or fingerprints, but I won't say it's an exercise in futility. There may be that one odd case that comes up. So I can say going forward, I won't neglect them in future, but I think my past experience played a major role in me not calling them out.
Can I just ask a question, or maybe make a statement to you? If the requirements and the national prescripts or national instruction is that LCRC must be there and it is a requirement, then it's not your call to make based on previous disappointment that because they disappointed me in the past, I'm going to decide not to call them to a major seizure of drugs. You simply do not have that power.
Yes.
If the prescripts say LCRC must be at the scene and they must take photos and fingerprints, whether they mess it up or not, you don't have the power to say, I won't call them.
Yes, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner, may I add something? No, hopefully I'm not going to get in trouble. Of those 10 cases that General Flynn did analyze, it was mine together with 2 others that LCRC were not called out. And I believe there was justifications from the investigating officers. But that being said, I hear what you're saying. We can't have a blatant disregard for national instructions. They are there for a reason.
Because
So-
it's binding on you.
Yes, yes. So that discretionary, or the discretion that we exercise at these scenes, I think we no longer can call it any discretion that we're exercising. We should not, and we won't be doing that. But I just try to let the Commission know there are those times that the IO makes those calls. Sometimes it's for a valid reason, but it lends itself to abuse where maybe members or corrupt members have underhanded or ulterior motives and may not call out LCRC for improper reasons.
Especially when things go wrong, like in this case, because we then go back and we say, did you follow
Yes, yes,
the national instruction to the letter? And
Right.
quite clearly you did not.
yes.
We maybe also put this to you, maybe let me do that, that in this case, there's no justification for not calling the LCRC.
At the time I thought so, but now I realize no, there was no justification, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. At least you appreciate that they take photographs,
Yes,
for official photographs,
yes, that's correct, Commissioner.
and they prepare a report based on those photographs taken.
That's correct, Commissioner.
Do you understand the value of those photographs? Whether in subsequent criminal cases or even a case brought civilly by the owner of the container claiming damages. Do you appreciate the value of the LCRC report?
Yes, I do, Commissioner.
And you appreciated at the time, but because they don't give you fingerprints, once again you decided you're not going to waste your time with them.
Yes, and I'll also add a comment to that, Commissioner. We've had cases where our members have taken, on these seizures as well, taken photos, proper photos, photos of bagging, sealing, all of that, and compiled an album, even of those 10 cases that General Flynn looked at. There were 2 others that did the same. Once again, I'm not pointing fingers, but it was something that was generally accepted as well. That-
By who? Accepted by who? Non-compliance with the prescripts is accepted by who? Colonel, because there the commissioners are going to be
Okay.
interested. Who
No,
next to
yes.
have a conversation with?
In this case, I think my point is that it was not something that was picked up by General Flynn as a major flaw in the handling of the crime scene. When he did
General
analyze.
Flynn is not part of my and your conversation. It's your understanding and appreciation I'm testing. I don't know why you keep referencing General Flynn.
Okay.
You are a senior member within DPCI, and I'm
Yes.
entitled to test your appreciation and knowledge of applicable prescripts and compliance therewith. And so I don't understand why you keep referring me back to General Flynn.
Yes, no, I think I'll say it again, that we've been complacent. I think old habits die hard, or our experience sometimes made us a little complacent. But like I say, it won't happen again. We will call these relevant role players out to do their job.
Okay?
Sorry, on this,
Yes, yes.
on this issue, it seems to me, Colonel, that the absence of the LCRC and therefore the absence of the report that they would have prepared, which would have told us what was out of the container immediately at the depot, their absence there, in fact, has the consequence that we have your word, and when I say your word, I mean the other police officers as well, only their words about what was found in fact there. Because we don't have photographs, for example, that show, in fact, had the LCRC been there from other evidence, you would have done the count there, you would have done the sealing there, and there would have been photographs of that. So as we sit here, we have only your word and the other officers as to what in fact was found.
Yes,
Is that right?
you are correct, Commissioner.
Okay. So if the depot manager were to say, or the security guard were to say, in fact, there was much more than this. It will be your word against theirs. We have no record, proper record, official record of what you in fact found when you were at the depot.
I'll accept that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. In fact, I think you state at CJC 243.13 at page 605, we don't have to go there. I think we touched on this. I'll just read your paragraph 3 of that statement, and that's your statement of the 23rd of June 2022. In that paragraph, you state as follows: photos of the scene were taken by myself and Captain KG Sibia on the day of the seizure. I'm unsure if Warrant Officer Mpangase had also taken photos or if Captain Duma had done so as well, close quote. So you left this entire photographing of the scene exercise to chance, depending on who wants to take photos?
No, Commissioner, it was myself and Captain KG Sibia.
How many photos did between the two of you take?
I can't say, but we took photos of every step of the way, from the opening of the container, the cutting of the lock, the bags that were there. Upon reaching Isipingo, laying it out in rows. The only photos that were absent were obviously sealing them in exhibit bags. But we did take quite a few photos. In fact, what was encompassed in the inquiry was not a holistic reflection. At no stage, if somebody came and asked me, do you have more photos, I would have furnished them with those photos. So, those photos don't do justice to what we did on the scene. Those photos in the inquiry.
Why would they think to ask you?
I'm just saying, if they saw that as a shortfall, that maybe there were not enough photos, we couldn't see the count or anything of that nature, then I'm sure we could have provided with more photos. I never saw it as an issue.
Now, your investigation diary, the one you introduced into the record yesterday, I did not pick up from that diary that these photos were formally submitted as part of that investigation diary. Are they recorded in there?
What annexure is?
Oh, you want us to go there?
Yeah,
Yes.
no, because I know photos were filed. I'm just trying to see if they make reference to it in the investigation.
Yeah,
diary.
and that's exactly the exercise I did to see, because you took us through the mill of how to read that investigation diary, which is step by step what transpired, right?
Yeah.
And I said what I couldn't find was an entry regarding these photos.
It's possible. I'm not going to dispute that and make us go to it. If you say it's not there, Commissioner, I will accept it.
I'm not saying it's not there,
No.
definitively, but I'm saying I could not see a reference.
Okay.
But then let's assume that it is indeed not there. It wasn't made. Is that a problem?
It's not a major problem, Commissioner. If you look at every other such inquiry, it's not a must that you diarize. Yes, you make reference to it. I'll give you an example. Photos filed. See photos filed as per A7 to A15, something of that nature. But it's not that detailed. You'll file an affidavit together with your statements, with your photos attached to it. But I don't seem to see any such entry here.
I'm concerned that you downplay the importance of photos of a crime scene generally, particularly this one. I would like to invite you to go to page 303, that would be Exhibit File 1. If we start, 306 perhaps. At 306, that's CJC 3235. And if you are at 306, you will see it's the LCRC Durban report compiled by Warrant Officer Zungu. You see that?
Yes, I can.
In that particular case, you go overleaf, It then speaks to the photographs taken. It looks very formal. It tells the reader, photo 1, taken inside the LCS premises, whatever gives you the address. It depicts establishing shot of the marked crime scene as was found. And it works through all those photographs, explaining what the photograph depicts,
Yes.
to photograph 28 at page 308. Correct?
Yes, Commissioner.
Your file, your seizure doesn't have the benefit of this report. All it has are random pictures taken by yourself and Captain Sibia, which are not even entered into the investigation diary.
Yes, you are correct, Commissioner.
Yes. Now, my mind tells me, and I say this quite guardedly because my mind may be dysfunctioning. It tells me that is wholly wrong unless there is a motive behind why things were done the way they were. And I say so because I want to put a proposition to you and invite you to make a comment as to why you did not call LCRC, as to why there are no formal records, as to why you just took the whole lot and, shuttled it off to Isipingo. And that for me is at page 298 of the same file. This is the Maiden Wharf case 00408-2021. It relates to the LCRC photo album relates to the same case. And please note that this is from the July 2021 seizure, so it's after yours, okay? Please bear that in mind.
What page, Commissioner?
298.
298.
Yeah. And in this particular case, this is by Warrant Officer Sander, who handled this seizure. It states at paragraph 3 that on that 26th August 2021, I was on duty and recovered an amount of narcotics. Next line, I requested the provincial LCRC to attend the scene and collect DNA from the bags. I was informed that DNA samples should not be logged on the various systems if a case has not been opened. I therefore registered the case of Maiden Wharf case 04/08-2021 for drug trafficking. Do you see that?
Yes, I see it, Commissioner.
I suggest to you that why you didn't call LCRC was to avoid this formality that Colonel Sanders confronted, because this entire seizure was never really meant to go formally into the records of the SAP, besides a cryptic SAPS 13 entry at Isipingo.
No, I disagree with that,
Okay.
Commissioner. Maybe if I had to add, and this is really the reality of it. These type of cases are more of a recovery, more of a seizure. Like I've said, we've had a 0% success rate. Yes, there is always that chance, but in our experience, it's more of a recovery, as long as you're getting these drugs off the street. So that's primarily what the objective of these seizures are, because we can clearly see that, and it's not something that the public wants to hear, but it's difficult to really make inroads and charge a suspect, especially on the rip-on-rip-off cases. But I do take what you say, Commissioner.
Thank you. Moving on then, I would like us to turn our attention to what happened at Isipingo, and in particular SAP 13. Yesterday, when we dealt with your statement, you indicated that at the time that SAPS 13 form or logbook was being completed, you said firstly it was by Warrant Officer Mbangase, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And you said you did not see what he included in that document? You only became aware of it subsequent to the theft?
To him making that entry, yes.
Oh, yeah, oh, okay. You said to him making the entry. At which point did you become aware of the content of that?
I said when I saw it on the commission, but it ought to have been filed in the inquiry. But obviously I didn't really interrogate or analyze it that carefully.
No, my question was, when did you become aware of that?
While watching the commission,
Oh, from this commission?
yes.
Oh, you are going to hire as a DPCI at this rate, you see that? I'm going to, it's CJC 193. And I would like to get your comment on that entry. Let me work off your.
Sorry, which file number?
I'm not sure of my referencing. You showed it there.
What is the document we are looking for?
The Isipingo SAP 13 were completed by Warrant Officer Mpangase. Something went wrong in the note-taking. But if it's not CJ,